Turn then to our Home Affairs and Security Editor, Mark White, who is in Essex for us this evening and brought us almost 2 hours ago now, Mark, that news that this was a Somalian national that we're talking about. Beyond that, what more can you tell us now?
Well, some confusion actually in terms of the origin of this individual. Now, those sources that said this was a Somali national now checking on the veracity of that and what his nationality actually is. So let's just rein back on that aspect of it at the moment. But we know, of course, this is an investigation that has now been taken over by Counter-Terror Command at Scotland Yard as they try to piece together exactly what happened and the motivation for this terrible murder just after 12 o'clock this afternoon, as Sir David Amess was holding that constituency surgery, as he did regularly most Fridays here in Essex, to reach out to and to be accessible to his constituents. It was, as I say, just after 12 when that attacker ran into the church behind me and stabbed Sir David, we're told, at least 7 times. Now, the medics were relatively quickly on scene, but were really unable, despite heroic efforts, to do anything for the 69-year-old. He died here at the scene before he could be airlifted by air ambulance to hospital. As I say, the investigation continues apace this evening, Colin. The police, although it is under the lead of the Counter-Terror Command at the moment, they are still keeping an open mind about the motivation. I've been looking back at the events of the day.
At the scene of the attack, a heavy police presence as police officers continue to piece together the exact sequence of events that led to the horrific murder of a much-loved local MP. Sir David Amess had been holding his regular Friday constituency surgery inside the Belfairs Methodist Church when the attackers struck. He was stabbed multiple times. Essex police confirmed a 25-year-old man was arrested nearby on suspicion of murder.
The investigation is in its very early stages and is being led by officers from the Specialist Counter-Terrorism Command. We made it clear at the time of the incident that we did not believe there was any immediate further threat to anyone else in the area. It will be for investigators to determine whether or not this is a terrorist incident.
The killing of their local MP has deeply shocked people here in Sir David's Southend West constituency. And that trauma is being felt much more widely. Flags are flying at half-mast over Parliament and key government buildings. And the Prime Minister has returned to Downing Street as he and fellow politicians absorb the news of this horrific murder.
The reason I think people are so shocked and saddened is, above all, he was one of the kindest, nicest, most gentle people in politics. And he also had an outstanding record of passing laws to help the most vulnerable.
Paramedics were quickly on the scene of the attack and specialist trauma doctors responded on board the local air ambulance. But despite their best efforts, there was nothing they could do for the 69-year-old MP who died at the scene.
Well, clearly the first thing to say is our thoughts are with his family and his staff and his friends. I suspect this must have been a shocking occurrence for those of his staff who were with him when the event happened, and obviously for his family. You can't think of a worse tragedy to happen to a family.
The murder of Sir David Amess has again highlighted the risks faced by politicians in an increasingly contentious political environment. In 2016, Labour MP Jo Cox was stabbed to death by a right-wing extremist in her West Yorkshire constituency at the height of the debate over Brexit. And 6 years before that, Labour MP Stephen Timms was stabbed and injured in his constituency offices by an Islamist extremist. The motive for the murder of Sir David Amess is still unclear. Police have said they're not looking for any other suspects, and they don't believe there's any wider threat to the public. Mark White, GB News.
But of course that investigation still continuing apace as the Counter-Terror Command, who are currently in the lead role in this investigation, try to determine exactly the motivation of this individual. And of course, if at the end of the day it is deemed to be a terrorist incident, then there are concerns about potential links to others and who else may have had knowledge, foresight of what was about to unfold today. Just not too far from here at St Peter's Church, we've had that vigil this evening in memory of their local MP. Lots of people here, very fond memories of a man who they considered to be a great and loyal constituency MP, always had a smile on his face, always had a time to have a word with his constituents.